Most significant breakthrough towards peace in the Middle East in more than 25 years. Joining me now to talk about it, Thane Rosenbaum, Distinguished University Professor at Touro College. Glad to have you back. Also, Isaac Smith, Isabel Brown, our panelists. Thane, I want to show you the front page of UAE's longest-running English daily newspaper cover. This was yesterday. Here it is. Salam Shalom, historic first flight. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
You have to love that, Sean. Remember, this is the first peace treaty that Israel was able to establish with a Persian Gulf country. Prior to this, they've had agreements, enduring agreements actually, with Egypt in 1979 and Jordan in 94. But this is extraordinary. Remember, this is a recognition of Israel as a Jewish state, the beginnings of bilateral diplomatic and economic agreements and ties. And it really sends a very strong message to Iran as well, that the Persian Gulf countries are interested in regional stability, and the only way to establish that is to have Israel as a partner and friend.
What do you have, Professor, tell me about your thoughts on this and having the United States footprint, if you will, the fingerprints of the United States of America on a deal like this. How historic is that?
Extremely historic, but frankly, Sean, not more historic than some of the other earlier initiatives that came out of the Trump administration. Frankly, this is something that Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, has been working on for many years anyway. It's clear that it was through the Trump administration that it finally was able to be realized. But I'm not sure that this is even more historic. It's really just been some of the other, certainly the potential annexation of the West Bank and the Gaza of the West Bank is clearly more important, as well as the moving of the embassies, the American embassy. But again, I think it also sends a very strong message to Iran, and that is very significant.
And the other welcoming sight here is a shorter trip for air travel. Israeli officials can enjoy that because they have the approved request to fly over Saudi territory, which, by the way, Professor, as you know, is huge all in itself.
It turned a 7-hour flight into a 3-hour flight. So if you're looking to engage in diplomatic and economic and financial ties, remember, the Emirates are the financial, center of the Arab world. And so Israel is, a high-tech startup culture nation, and if the Emirates is looking for a good investment for their banks, Israel is a very good investment, and now the countries are closer, not just diplomatically, but geographically, because Saudi airspace is now available for them to reach each other through air travel.
Right, open for business. Isaac Smith, I'll bring you in on this conversation here. As you've seen, this was kind of a flyover topic, if you will. I want to stay on the topic here. As far as the media is concerned, not a lot of credit given to this administration. Isaac.
Well, we all know the media wouldn't give credit to this administration for anything. If Donald Trump walked across the Potomac, Anderson Cooper would say it was because he couldn't swim. But the fact is that the Middle East is more stable, more peaceful. The American involvement in our long-standing foreign conflicts has been reduced. We have not started any new foreign conflicts. That is part of the process of promises made, promises kept. We were told that we would not be engaging in these overseas regime change wars anymore. And these big peace agreements overseas, which are going to be good for us economically, going to be good for us politically, also allow us an opportunity to withdraw troops from the region, which is going to be welcome news to so many American families that worry about their sons and their daughters going off to war.
Isabel Brown, final thoughts from you on this whole thing and how this is playing out in the Middle East and just how impactful a first-term president has been at this point.
Isaac, you really hit the nail right on the head, echoing that process that the president has really embodied in every area of policy throughout his presidency. Promises made, promises kept. We're seeing unprecedented peace and prosperity around the world, particularly in the Middle East, where instability has been a characteristic of humanity for thousands of years. And a lot of that has to do with the strong leadership of this president. And it's not just about political talking points or pandering to potential voters. It's about getting results done.
Isaac, Isabel, you guys stick around if you don't mind. And Professor Thane Rosenbaum, always great to see you, sir, and getting your thoughts. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Sean.
Anytime.